You'd think betrayal feels like fire, sharp, burning, immediate. But for me, it was quiet at first, like a slow leak you don't notice until the whole house smells of gas. It started the day I helped my sister carry her suitcase up the porch steps. Her eyes were swollen, makeup half wiped. She looked small, smaller than I remembered. And when she leaned into me, she shook like someone who'd forgotten how to stand still. "Can I stay here for a while?" she whispered. "Of course," I said yes. That's what older sisters do. Before all of this, my life was simple, not perfect, but steady. I worked part-time as a teacher's assistant at the local school. My husband, Imran, managed a small electronics shop. We weren't rich, but our home felt full. Laughter, the smell of tea brewing every evening, the sound of our son, Sami, running through the hallways. Imran and I had our share of arguments, mostly about money or my habit of taking on everyone's problems, but he was kind in his own quiet way, the kind of man who'd fix a neighbor's fan without asking for a rupee, or bring home mangoes when he knew I'd had a long day. And my sister, Zara, she was my opposite in every way. Bold, beautiful, restless. She had married young, against everyone's advice, to a man who promised her the world but gave her bruises instead. I warned her once. She said love doesn't listen to warnings. Now here she was, standing at my door, that same stubborn spark gone from her eyes. "Stay as long as you need," I told her. "This house is yours too." I meant it, every word. That first week, things felt almost peaceful. Zara slept in the guest room, helped me in the kitchen, even braided Sami's hair before school, something I never had the patience for. Imran seemed happy too. "It's good for you," he said one night as we washed dishes together. "You two laugh more when you're together. You used to smile like that when we first got married." He wasn't wrong. Zara brought life back into the house. She'd put on old songs while cooking, tease me about my plain Cortez, and convince Imran to join us for dinner instead of eating late at the shop. Sometimes I'd catch them laughing together, her making a joke, him pretending to look offended, and I'd feel a quiet warmth. It felt like family again. Maybe that's why I didn't notice the small changes right away. It began with small things. Zara stopped joining me for tea in the evenings, said she was too tired. Then I noticed Imran's late nights getting even later, but this time he'd come home with his shirt freshly ironed, the faint smell of Zara's floral detergent clinging to his clothes. One night, I went to the kitchen to refill Sami's water bottle and saw Zara's slippers outside the guest room, but when I peeked in, her bed was perfectly made. I assumed she'd gone out to smoke in the backyard, even though she'd promised to quit. I told myself not to overthink it. She was hurting, he was just being kind. That's what I told myself every time I caught them talking softly in the corner of the living room, or when their laughter stopped abruptly the moment I walked in. Still, a small voice inside me began whispering, something isn't right. One afternoon, while cleaning, I found Zara's gold bracelet under the couch in the living room. I smiled, picked it up, and went to return it. Her door was locked. That was strange. She never locked it before. I knocked softly. "Zara? It's me." No answer. I tried again. Still nothing. From behind the door came the muffled sound of movement, a quick shuffle, a whisper, then silence. I remember standing there for a moment, hand on the doorknob, heart beginning to race. But then Sami called from the kitchen, "Mama, the milk is boiling over," and I left. When I returned, the door was open. Zara sat calmly on her bed, scrolling her phone. The window was open. The air smelled faintly of Imran's cologne. "Everything okay?" I asked. She looked up, smiling, too quickly. "Of course. Why wouldn't it be?" I handed her the bracelet. "You dropped this." "Oh," she said, taking it. "Thanks." Her hand trembled slightly. That night, I couldn't sleep. Imran's phone buzzed twice on the nightstand. I glanced at the screen. New message, Z. Flower. Zara's initial. My chest tightened. I turned my face away, pretending not to see, pretending not to know. In the dark, I listened to him breathe, steady, deep,
while my own breath came shallow and fast. I told myself I was imagining things, that I was tired, that maybe Z could be anyone. But deep down, a part of me knew. The next morning, I watched them at breakfast. Zara poured tea into Imran's cup before serving me. Their hands brushed and they both froze for a split second, then laughed it off. My spoon clinked against the saucer louder than I intended. Later that week, I tried to talk to her. We were folding laundry together, sunlight falling in through the curtains. "You and Imran seem to get along," I said casually. She looked up, expression unreadable. "He's your husband, Appa. Of course we get along." Her tone was light, but there was something behind her eyes, something sharp. I hesitated. "I don't want you to feel uncomfortable staying here." "I don't," she said quickly. "Do you?" Her question hung in the air between us. "No," I lied. "Of course not." She smiled, folded the last of her clothes, and left the room. The faint scent of her perfume lingered. Jasmine, soft and sweet. For some reason, it made me feel sick. That night, I lay awake again, staring at the ceiling fan. The silence between Imran and me felt heavier than usual. He faced away from me, one arm tucked under the pillow. I reached out to touch his shoulder and stopped when I saw a faint red mark near his neck. A lipstick stain. The color, deep plum, the exact shade Zara wore. My hand fell back to my side. The fan kept spinning, and somewhere in the house, a door creaked softly.
The next morning, the house felt unusually quiet. Even the birds outside seemed hesitant to sing. Zara had gone out early to run errands, and Imran said he had to open the shop. But something about the way he said it, the quick, practiced tone, the way he avoided my eyes, felt off. After they left, I stood alone in the kitchen, my hands on the counter, staring at 2 empty teacups in the sink. One had lipstick on the rim, Zara's shade again. I tried to swallow the ache forming in my throat, but it stayed there, heavy and unmoving. I knew I needed to stop pretending. Around noon, I called the shop. "Imran Electronics?" the young clerk answered. "Can I speak to Imran?" "He didn't come in today, Baji." I froze. "Did he say where he was going?" "No, Baji. He called earlier, said he wasn't feeling well." I thanked him and hung up. My hands were shaking. I stood there for a moment, the phone still pressed against my ear, then turned toward the guest room. The door was slightly ajar. Inside, the bed was made, perfectly, as always, but the air smelled of his cologne again. I opened the closet. Zara's suitcase was gone. My stomach twisted. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Maybe she went shopping? Maybe Imran had gone to rest at a friend's place. But the voice inside me, the one I'd been silencing for weeks, whispered again, "You already know." I grabbed my car keys. It wasn't instinct. It was something deeper, a pull, the kind that comes when your heart already knows what your mind refuses to believe. I drove toward the old Riverside Motel, the one on the outskirts of town. I don't even know why that place came to mind. Maybe because it was the only one far enough from the neighborhood where nobody would recognize them. My heart thudded against my ribs the entire way. My hands clutched the steering wheel so tightly, my knuckles went white. Every red light felt like an eternity. When I finally reached, I parked across the street, behind a line of dusty trees. For a moment, I just sat there, staring at the entrance. And then I saw them. Zara stepping out first, a light scarf over her hair, sunglasses on even though the sky was cloudy. Imran followed, holding her bag. He looked relaxed, the way he hadn't in months. He touched her back gently, the same way he used to guide me through crowded places. I felt the world tilt. I don't know how long I sat there watching.
maybe a minute, maybe 10. They walked to his car, laughing about something. She threw her head back, her hair brushing his shoulder. And that was the moment I stopped feeling numb. It was replaced by something raw, a deep, quiet fury that burned in my chest.
When I reached home, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. Instead, I made tea, 2 cups, just like every evening. When they returned later that night, they both looked startled to see me awake. "You're home early," I said, my voice calm. Imran cleared his throat. "Shop closed early, power cut." "And you, Zara?" She blinked, then smiled faintly. "I went to get my things from my old house." I stirred my tea slowly, letting the spoon clink against the cup. "That's nice," I said softly. "Did you find what you were looking for?" Something in my tone made her shift uncomfortably. Imran sat down, pretending to scroll through his phone. "I'll serve dinner," I said, rising. As I turned away, I saw Zara's hand rest lightly on his knee under the table. I didn't say a word. That night, I couldn't sleep again. The fan hummed overhead, the same steady rhythm it always had, but everything else felt wrong, like my entire life had been tilted slightly to the side. I watched the clock tick past midnight, then 1, then 2. At 2:17 a.m., I heard footsteps in the hallway. Soft, barefoot. Not one pair, 2. The sound stopped near the guest room, then the faint click of a door closing. For a moment, I thought about getting up, about walking down that hallway, opening the door, and ending the lie once and for all. But I didn't. I just lay there frozen, the tears sliding silently into my hair.
The next morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were swollen, my lips pale. I barely recognized the woman staring back. And then, something in me shifted. I realized I didn't need to catch them in the act to know the truth. I already had enough. Now it was time to decide what to do with it. I started quietly. I went to the bank, checked the joint account. Imran had withdrawn a large amount 2 days earlier. I asked for a statement and made copies. Then I called the property office, just to confirm the ownership of our house. Everything was still in both our names. Good. I wasn't planning revenge, not the kind people gossip about. I just wanted to protect what was mine. Later that evening, I sat Sami down. He was only 10, but he'd noticed the tension. "Mama," he said softly, "why do you and Daddy fight so much now?" My heart broke a little. "We're just figuring things out," I said gently. "Sometimes adults make mistakes." He nodded, though his eyes looked too wise for his age. By the end of that week, I knew what I had to do. I called my brother, someone I hadn't spoken to in years. Told him everything. Well, almost everything. "I need a place to stay," I said, "just for a little while." He didn't ask questions. "Come tomorrow." That night, I packed quietly. A few clothes, Sami's school things, my mother's old jewelry, and the file with all our documents. At dawn, as the call to prayer echoed outside, I left a note on the kitchen counter. When the people you love forget their promises, sometimes the only thing left to do is remember your worth. I took Sami's hand and walked out. We stayed with my brother for a week before I went back to face them. When I walked into the house, they were both there, Zara sitting on the couch, Imran standing beside her. They looked startled, guilty. "Where's Sami?" Imran asked first. "With me, and he'll stay with me." He opened his mouth to argue, but I raised my hand. "Don't. You lost the right to speak first." Zara's eyes glistened, but there was no shame in them, only defiance. "Before you say anything," I said quietly, "just know this. I saw you. Both of you." Imran's face went pale. "You don't understand," he started. "I understand enough." My voice was calm, steady, the way it gets when anger cools into clarity.
Imran's voice broke the silence first. "Zara, please, just listen." But I wasn't the same Zara who used to fold his shirts neatly and wait for him by the window. I had crossed that line, somewhere between heartbreak and awakening. "I listened for months," I said. "Every lie, every excuse, every time you told me I was imagining things." I turned to Zara. "I welcomed you into my home like a sister. You smiled in my kitchen, played with my child, and still—" Her lips trembled, but she didn't look away. "I didn't mean for it to happen." A bitter laugh escaped my throat. "That's the thing about betrayal, Zara. It never means to happen. It just does, when you stop thinking about the people you're breaking." Imran tried to reach for my hand. "Please, Zara, I made a mistake." I stepped back. "No, Imran, you made a choice." The air in the room felt heavy. Zara's eyes darted between us, guilt and fear warring on her face. "You can both stay here," I said quietly. "I'll leave." That startled them. "What? No, this is your home," he said. "It was my home, until you brought her into it." Zara looked down, her fingers twisting together. "I'll take Sami. We'll go to my brother's for now. I'll speak to a lawyer next week." Imran's face crumpled. "Zara, don't do this. Think of Sami. I am thinking of him. That's why I'm walking away before he grows up learning that love means endurance without respect." He didn't have a response for that. He just stood there, tears welling in eyes I'd once trusted completely. When I left, I didn't slam the door. I just closed it quietly, the way you close a chapter you'll never open again. Outside, the sky was gray, and the first drops of rain began to fall. Sami held my hand, confused but calm. "Are we going home, Mama?" he asked softly. I squeezed his little fingers. "We are, Betha. Just a new kind of home." The first few weeks were hard. Everywhere I looked, there were memories. His laugh, his favorite mug, the smell of Zara's perfume on the guest towels. But pain has a strange way of reshaping you. Each morning, I woke up a little stronger. I found a job at a local school, teaching art to children. The pay wasn't much, but the laughter in that classroom filled the silence I'd been carrying inside. I'd forgotten how healing colors could be, how a child's messy drawing could remind you that beauty doesn't have to be perfect. One afternoon, while the kids were painting, a little girl raised her brush and asked, "Ms. Zara, what are you making?" I looked down at my canvas. It was a river, calm, wide, endless, with a single paper boat floating on it. "Something that's learning to move forward," I said. Meanwhile, Imran called a few times. I didn't answer at first, but eventually I picked up. "I just want to talk," he said quietly. "There's nothing left to say," I replied. He hesitated. "Zara, I'm sorry for everything." I ended things with Zara. I took a slow breath. "You didn't end it, Imran. It ended the day you forgot what we built together." There was silence on the line. Then he whispered, "Do you hate me?" "No," I said honestly. "I just don't recognize you anymore." And I hung up. Months passed. The seasons changed. Sami started smiling again, that wide, carefree smile that used to light up our home. We'd spend weekends at the park, painting sunsets, eating cheap ice cream that melted too fast. And sometimes, in quiet moments, I'd still think about what could have been, but only for a heartbeat. Because the truth was, I didn't want the old life back. I wanted peace, and I had finally found it. One evening, after school, I sat on the porch watching Sami chase fireflies. The world glowed golden around us, the kind of light that makes you believe in beginnings again. My brother came outside holding 2 cups of tea. He handed me one and said, "You've changed, you know?" I smiled faintly. I had to. He nodded. "I'm proud of you." Those words, simple, steady, warmed something inside me that had been cold for a long time.
That night, after Samir fell asleep, I opened my journal, the one I used to keep hidden in my bedside drawer. I wrote, "Some stories don't end with forgiveness. Some end with freedom." And for the first time, I didn't cry when I put the pen down. A few weeks later, I ran into Zara at the market. She looked smaller, not physically, but in spirit. Her eyes were dull, her hair unkempt. "Zara," she said softly. I turned, meeting her gaze without flinching. "Zara." "I wanted to say sorry again," she whispered. "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want you to know I've lost everything." I studied her face for a long moment. "You didn't lose everything, Zara," I said gently. "You gave it away." Her eyes filled with tears, and I walked away. Not out of cruelty, but because closure doesn't always come from words. Sometimes it comes from the strength to keep walking. A year later, I moved into a small apartment of my own. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. The walls were painted soft yellow, the curtains light and airy. Every corner carried something of me, my art, my peace, my freedom. Sammy helped me unpack, laughing as he tried to hang his superhero posters crookedly. "Mama," he said, "it feels like a new start." "It is," I smiled, "for both of us." That night, as I stood by the window, watching the city lights shimmer below, I thought about everything that had happened. Betrayal, pain, strength, healing. All of it had shaped me into someone new, someone who didn't need someone else to define her worth. And for the first time in years, I whispered to myself, not as a plea, but as a promise, I am enough.
They say heartbreak destroys you, but maybe it also rebuilds you. Slower, wiser, softer. Maybe the real love story isn't about who stays, but about who you become when they leave. My name is Zara, and this is how I learned that peace is the most beautiful kind of love.